Well, good morning and Happy New Year, everyone. I'd like to call the January 2024 Committee on Accreditation meeting to order. Ms. Bernardo, will you please call the roll?
Allison Leggett. You have to press. Augustin Cervantes.
Here.
Kathy Grisha.
Here.
Katrina Chakowski.
Here.
Patrick McKee.
Here.
Bob Fraley.
Here.
Alan Hallis.
Here.
Mike Hillis. Here. Marissa Luna Lopez. Jason Lee. Here. Oh, sorry. How are you going to?
Here.
Okay. Jason Lee. Gerard Morrison.
Yeah.
Kevin Taylor.
Here.
We have a form.
Great, thank you. And nice to see everybody here. It's a nice, robust turnout. Thank you for making it available here. So let's go over some logistics. The meeting is being conducted in a hybrid fashion. All members are in person. Other participants, such as institutional representatives and team leads, and some staff will be attending virtually. The Zoom link and a toll-free phone number has also been made available to the public. Regarding microphones, as a reminder, please mute your laptop speakers, microphones, and mute yourselves on the Zoom video. This is a very important reminder to please press your button on your microphone to activate it when you speak. And then when you're done speaking, turn it off. And if you don't do that, those listening online will not be able to hear your comments and they will not be recorded. It is important to turn off your microphone when you are done speaking. I'm sorry, did you have a question or comment, Allison? Okay, I saw your hand up. For Zoom identification, for those participating via Zoom, we'd like to ask that everyone check their Zoom identification and make sure it contains your first and last name accurately so we can able to call on you appropriately, and also so that we get all names accurately recorded in the record. If you need to update your name, click on the three dots in the window with your picture to bring up the rename option. When it is time to take up an item, we will need a moment to bring the appropriate attendees into the main meeting room, make sure that they can see us and that we can see and hear them as well. Public comment. If any member of the public wishes to comment on a specific item, please use the raise hand feature at the bottom of your screen during the item. You'll be brought into the main meeting room at the appropriate time and asked to state your name and affiliation for the record. If you wish to speak on a specific item, please send a request through the chat feature telling us which item you wish to speak to so we can be sure to call on you during the appropriate time. Or you can also send your comments through the chat feature and we'll be looking for those and read those aloud. Please be sure we have your full name and affiliation and which item number and name you'll be referencing. There's also a time designated for general public comment at the end of the meeting. The meeting is being recorded, and once the meeting ends, the archived audio and video will be made available via the Commission's website. Regarding motions and voting, when you make your motions, please state the motion in full so that there is no question what the motion is. Because committee members are all in person, a roll call vote is not necessary, so you may simply respond either aye, no, or abstain when asked for your vote. And we could do a roll call vote if necessary. Any questions on committee members regarding their protocols for the day? Okay, that's all right. So that concludes item one. Moving into item two. Item two is the approval of the agenda. Just in case you haven't noticed, the staff has proposed trying the staff reports at the end of the meeting rather than doing it early. Typically, it's been that way over the years, so we're going to move it towards the back end. Staff's thinking this might assist better in being able to estimate times for some of the earlier items when institutional representatives are participating with time certain presentations. So having seen the agenda, is there a motion to approve the agenda for the January 2024 meeting? And just remember to unmute your microphone when speaking. Is there a motion? Member Morrison.
Move to approve the agenda.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Motion carries. Item three. Item three is the approval of the minutes of the prior meeting. Is there a motion to approve the meetings of the October 2023 meeting? And just reminder that any member who was not present at that meeting will need to abstain from that. So there's a motion, to approve the minutes.
I'm sorry, if I can take you off script slightly.
Sure.
Do we have any corrections to those?
That's what I was going to ask. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Just one correction. Item 12, I am a recusal.
Oh, got it. Okay. Thank you. Are there any other comments or corrections? All right, seeing none. Now, is there a motion to approve the minutes of the prior meeting from October? Member Taylor.
I move that we approve the minutes of the October meeting of the COA.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member McKee. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Thank you. We now move on to item 4. Item 4 is the co-chair and member reports. Any members have anything you'd like to share? Besides enjoying your break from work for a while, the holiday break. Hope you had all a good holiday, everybody. Nothing to report? All right. I've got nothing. You got anything, Katrina?
If I don't say something, it would be breaking with tradition.
No, that's good.
Today, I'm just happy to be here.
This is not work related. I had an engagement party for my son and his fiance at my house in December, shortly before Christmas. And so that's exciting. They're getting married in a couple of weeks or so. Yeah. Thank you. I think. No, she's great. He's young, 23. Sorry, I'm sorry. I think of how old I was, but I think he's more mature at 23 than I was at 40. So it's a good match. So they'll be great together.
Well, actually, now that you say something uplifting like that, I could say that tomorrow is our district's academic decathlon championship meet. And I got snookered into this advisory role somehow. I had no idea what I was doing. And I thought it was super weird when I first saw the description of the whole thing. But I got 15 decathletes from our high school, super diverse group of kids. They're just super fun. They have to give a speech on anything for 3.5 to 4 minutes on anything, which is pretty interesting, the stuff that they're going to talk about. The theme is technology and humanity. And then they participate in an interview. And then they did last week, they stayed after school on Monday for 3.5 hours to do multiple choice subject area tests in everything from calculus to literature to neuroscience, computer science. I mean, nerds unite is all I can say. So they survived all that, and they're going to get on a bus and they'll have matching polo shirts with their names on them. So think about that image tomorrow at 7:30, going off to do battle with their final competition.
Oh, well, good luck.
So, post-COVID, yay, kids are coming out to do cool stuff like that. And this is year 32 for me, and I'm still amazed by the capacity of kids to seize upon opportunity, and to really want to be with adults that celebrate them and recognize, potential. It's super fun. There's hope for the planet.
That's very cool. All right. Good luck. That's great. Anybody else? Yes.
Good morning, everyone. As a former academic decathlete,
Ah,
I placed in the super quiz. Have you know? Anyway, it's just a pleasure to be here because I really enjoy this group and I like being on the troublemaker side. I promise. Anyway, it's always great being here, like I said before, and I'm just looking forward to seeing some of the institution interviews. I'm just, again, a geek for this stuff, and I don't know why. I get really excited. The cheeks are all red, and I'm like,
oh, that's great. Well, thank you. We were honored that you're here to be able to join us. Thank you so much. Do appreciate it. And I have to say that whenever the commission have the meetings and you do the summary of what the COA meetings are, I mean, your summaries are so extraordinary and just they're spot on. So I really appreciate. Yeah. So it's great. Thank you very much. Oh, yeah. I forget. That's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, we did virtually, both of us, Katrina and I, along with Aaron and Cheryl. We presented to the commission the year-end summary from what the COA report. I felt that the commission, they seemed very supportive. I felt that they asked good questions. I felt that we pat ourselves in the back. I think we represented the group well, but it's easy to represent the group well because this is such an esteemed body of individuals and talent and introspective and just for the good of the cause, giving people. And so when we work with people like that, it's very easy to speak so highly of what we do. And the staff prepared a very detailed report, so we were able to present all the highlights of what we did in the past, what we're planning on moving forward. And I felt that it seemed well received from our perspective.
Yeah, I mean the data that
Oh,
Cheryl and Aaron and others assembled was concise and relevant. And I think the two topics that commissioners discussed most were, interestingly, literacy and coaching or mentoring. The mentoring aspect, I think, was a topic of quite a bit of conversation. And I felt like it really validated a lot of the conversations we've had here around the imperative of matching our newest educators with the most qualified mentors, because retention is just as important as recruitment. So yeah, that's kind of our collective charge.
Yeah. And anything you want to say, Cheryl or Aaron, from your perspective?
I don't think I ended up sending the rest of the COA the PowerPoint that we put together, and I will do that because what we tried to do was summarize the last 5 years. The percentages of institutions that got full accreditation, how many got stipulations, and then looked at some data that we thought the commission would like what's the number one type of program that seems to be being withdrawn from institutions. The sad case there is that a lot of the reading and literacy and added authorizations seem to have been shrinking right at a time when we need them. So things like that. So I will try to send that to you this afternoon. I don't know why I didn't remember to send that to you all.
Yeah, anything you want to add to that, Aaron?
No, thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So I think, again, it was an honor and a privilege to represent all of you in the committee. So thank you again for your work. Item 5 is program approval recommendations. And program approvals, this section is for action. There are 4 institutions with a program for approval. The first one is Cal State University, Sacramento, Reading Literacy Added Authorization and Reading Literacy Leadership Specialist Credential. Do we have them with us before we move forward? Okay, thank you. Joining us today from Sacramento State to answer your questions you may have about the program are Dr. Marcy Merrill, Language and Literacy Program Coordinator, and Dr. Sarah Juganatos, Interim Associate Dean for Instruction and Student Success. Are there any recusals on this item? All right, seeing none, institutional representatives, welcome. Glad to have you join us. Any comment you wish to make about your proposed program?
Good morning. I'm Dr. Marcy Merrill, and I am very grateful for you having us today. Our language and literacy program has been in existence for more than 40 years, and we have had many. When I arrived, there were 14 language and literacy faculty. And to Cheryl's point earlier, programs have been shrinking, not just with students coming, but also faculty, leaving, retiring. I could say the worst scenarios, because that has happened to us as well. And so we have had to rebuild. And so we let our credential and authorization go about 7 years ago, and we started to rebuild. So we rebuilt our master's program about 5 years ago and started then with what we call cohort 1, even though, again, our program has been in existence for a long time. And then I spent the past 2 years crafting the new authorization and credential, because first of all, we know it's needed in the state. Second, our students are asking for it. And third, and I think, again, most importantly, our community has great needs for literacy, and we need to be able to supply what our community needs. So with the new dyslexia movement forward, and with certainly our new literacy standards, we have risen to the challenge, and we hope that you will approve our credential and authorization.
All right, thank you. Any commission? I'm sorry. Would the other representative wish to make any comment at all? Would you like to offer any?
Hi. No,
Okay.
just thanks for having us.
Yeah.
I'll answer any questions if they have any, but I think Marcy covered it.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Juganatos. Any questions from the committee members? Yes, Member Cervantes.
First and foremost, kudos. Thank you for bringing this to the table. It's very much needed. Are you envisioning a cohort model or just students enrolling individually and hoping to build a critical number to be able to offer your courses and the authorization?
Yeah, that's a great question. So they will enter only in the fall and they will become a cohort. However, they will have many options. They can choose to get the master's, they can choose to get the credential, or they could choose to do both. That is an option for them, but they will stay as a cohort. So yes.
All right, thank you. Any other comment or question? Member Taylor.
It was noted that some of these added authorizations have fallen by the wayside, and I'd like to thank everybody at Sac State for committing to doing this work.
Thank you very much. Yeah, agreed. Anyone else? All right, this is an action item. Is there a motion to approve Sacramento State's Reading Literacy Added Authorization and Reading Literacy Leadership Specialist Credential Program? Member Taylor.
I move that we approve the added authorizations as stated for Sacramento State University.
Okay. So moved. Is there a second? Member Cervantes. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations and you seem very happy indeed. So yeah, thank you for joining us, Dr. Merrill, and also Dr. Jugonatos. Thank you very much. We appreciate you taking the time and the effort for the program as well. Congratulations and good luck.
Thank you all.
All right, the second is a University of California, Los Angeles Preliminary Education Specialist, Mild to Moderate Support Needs and Preliminary Education Specialist, Extensive Support Needs Programs. Joining us today from UCLA to answer any questions you may have about the program are Dr. Emma Hippolito, Director of the Teacher Education Program, and Ms. Hani Rafi, Education Specialist Coordinator. Are there any recusals on this item?
Yes.
Okay, Member Leggett, we have one recusal. Any others? All right. Would the institutional representatives like to say anything about your proposed program?
Good morning, everyone. First, we want to thank, I'm Emma Hipólito, I'm used to saying my name, Director of TP, and just want to first thank you for the opportunity to present our work. And with me is my colleague, Hani Rafi, and she has some words as well. And we also really want to just all of you to know how helpful the commission staff has been in guiding us through this process. Rafi,
and specifically, thank you so much to Poonam. Hi, everybody. Good morning. You have been so instrumental in helping us answering all of our questions, giving us clarifying directions, connecting us to other folks who could give us insight as we did this work. So we are very grateful for your support.
And then what we would share is that, Rafi has spent the last year and a half building an education specialist pathway within our existing teacher education program. And we've, worked close. I was struck by the comments earlier about the need for good mentors. We've worked closely with our district and which is LA Unified, to understand needs, and they will be helping us choose mentors later in the spring if we're approved. And we're just really excited to be able to do this work. We have a strong social justice focus, a strong focus on urban education. And so we think that we bring this to this program, which we hope, there was a question earlier about cohorts, which we hope to initiate in the summer in a cohort setting. Rafi, what else would you like to add?
Thank you, Emma. So we're very excited about this opportunity because as Emma mentioned, our program is the central focus. Everything comes from social justice and really looking at everything through that lens as we consider our student candidates, but also the populations that they serve. So this unique opportunity to be able to create this Ed Specialist program in 2024, considering all the different needs and the ways that we're thinking about neurodiversity, the ways that we're thinking about disability and really centering disability justice in this work is particularly exciting. I will tell you, being at UCLA also brings with it some privilege, as UCLA just is the first UC now to have an approved disability studies major on their campus. So the opportunity to connect and collaborate and provide our candidates with even a more robust experience is particularly exciting. So thank you all.
Well, thank you for sharing. That is definitely a good setting for this type of program. So we really appreciate your efforts on this. Any committee members have any questions for the reps from UCLA? Member Cervantes.
Again, kudos, doing 2 credentials and a master's, amazing. Just for our own edification, could you share a little bit more about the rotation that will go on the placement sites? I saw that you had autism as well as low incident programs being covered, just to give us a little taste of what students will be experiencing.
Absolutely. So as you know, because of the 2 different credentials, it's important that students have an opportunity to consider all the different settings and consider also the eligibilities. So because we have an extensive partnership with the district, we know all the different school sites that provide different settings and different opportunities for people to see this work being done. And so because of that, students will have an opportunity to be in either in inclusive settings or special day programs where they can see, whether it's in an core class, for example, or is it going to be a push-in model where they're kind of doing the work of a resource teacher. So they'll see these things in different capacities.
Thank you. Co-chair Tchaikovsky.
Yes, thank you for putting together the proposal for a program in areas that our state really needs. And I wanted just to say I appreciate that you're doing this in a traditional student teaching pathway. Your plan is not to crank out credentials as quickly as possible, because again, going back to retention and what you just described is really setting people up to understand the job that they're going to get into. I think that's really thoughtful, and I appreciate that, because preparing someone to be an ed specialist is no simple trick, and people who think they're ready when they're not are short for the world. So thank you for being thoughtful on that. I mean, intern programs have, of course, utility, but taking the time to do it right is what your program looks like it's all about. And I also just wanted to say that I, saw your guiding teacher roles and responsibilities among your linked materials. And just to excerpt 2 things, I mean, one of your criteria is for a guiding teacher is demonstrated ability to maintain a democratic classroom environment. You don't see that everywhere. And then among professional responsibilities is to model anti-racist, caring, equitable, and research-based instructional practices. Those are among your first criteria. So I appreciate that being part of the clear expectations that back up your assertion of having a commitment to social justice. So thank you. Go get them.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate that. And I will tell you that many conversations that went into thinking about our program was the sustainability piece. How are we preparing candidates so that not only are they getting through our program, but they're able to show up in the district and continue the work in that space? And I know probably everyone in this committee understands the importance of what does that look like beyond just having students complete a program, being able to feel that they've been given the tools to continue this work. So thank you so much for that statement.
Sorry, Member McKee.
I just want to echo the same comment from in the field. There's such a need for these areas, and I commend your institution for developing this plan. And similar note of the real world aspects to it. We see so many ed specialists that come in and maybe haven't had the experience in the field, how to run an IEP, how to develop goals. And these are real world, real important things that benefit students. So I just commend you as well for developing this, because it is what is needed in the current field. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comments or questions? Okay, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Tchaikovsky.
I don't know if I'm allowed to do that,
Sure.
but I'm going to try it and see what happens. So I make a motion to approve UCLA's preliminary ed specialist mild to moderate support needs and preliminary ed specialist extensive support needs programs.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye. Aye. All opposed? They can try to share their wealth as they look who share their. Thank you and congratulations. And I would also like to say thank you for your opening comments about how much support you had from the staff. We always sing their praises because we work with them very closely, but it's really nice to hear that from your perspective. And I got to say, when you thank Poonam, there was like a little shout out from her body in the back there. So, so it's very welcome. And again, congratulations. So thank you both for being with us and good luck with the program moving forward.
Thank
Can I
you
just say
all
one
so
thing
much.
real quick before you leave?
Yep.
So I just wanted to highlight the fact that this is one of the ones that are coming in under the new literacy standards. So
Right.
just to remind you of that, as well as the other two coming. This one, we are sort of doing an additional review on staff after the reviewers are reviewing it. And it was beautifully done, I have to say. And we'd love to use it as an example. And we'd love to reach out to you to see if we can possibly ask for your assistance as other programs are trying to think about the new literacy standards.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. That's so kind.
All right.
Yes.
So yeah. So someone will be in contact with you. Thank you again and congratulations.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Moving on, the third program is for our institution is King Chavez Academy of Excellence Preliminary Single Subject Intern Pathway. Joining us today from King Chavez Academy of Excellence to answer any questions you may have about the program are Marky Bover, Credential Operations Program Advisor, Emily Bremer, Director of Induction and Program Advisor, and Colleen Marble, Director of Instructional Leadership. Are there any recusals on the item? Seeing none, would the institutional representatives like to say anything about your proposed program?
Sure. Hi, I'm Marky Bover. We just want to express our gratitude for having the opportunity to be here, as this has been a very lengthy journey, and we eagerly anticipate supporting our future educators. And we also just want to give a shout out to Miranda and Poonam, as we've been working with them for 18 months to get here. And we had originally written our program right before the new literacy standards got approved. So we adjusted our program to align with these new TPEs by incorporating a lot more additional resources, assignments, and collaborating with other IHEs. And we dedicated a significant effort to develop more thoughtful approaches to ensuring the candidates receive the support that they require. And through this program, the candidates receive regular mentorship from veteran colleagues, coursework dedicated to understanding these TPEs. So again, we just wanted to say thank you for having us and giving us this opportunity to be here today.
Hey, thank you, Ms. Bover. And also thank you again for the comments for Poonam and Miranda. Again, more smiles back there from them. So again, it's nice to know that the work is appreciated. Thank you. Ms. Bremer, Ms. Marble, would you like to offer any comments?
I would love to just give a shout out. Sorry, Emily, I'll go first. We've had really great success with our multiple subject credential program, our pathway, and we really saw the need for the single subject pathway, and we're really excited to get this up and running. Our principals are chomping at the bit to get candidates enrolled for the next school year. So thank you so much for taking your time to review this.
Absolutely. Thank you.
And I just wanted
And
to
Ms.
echo
Marble? Yeah.
what Ms. Marble and Ms. Bover said. Just a huge thank you to Ms. Bover for all of her hard work. We're excited to bring this robust program into our network. It really seems like a gap that we're excited to fill. So thanks so much for having us today, and we're excited about moving forward.
Great. Thank you. Any committee members have any questions for representatives from King Chavez Academy of Excellence? Co-Chair Tchaikovsky.
Briefly, there are probably a number of programs that are in similar situation where they're attempting to align existing operations and programs to these new standards. Can you identify one or two changes that you would consider particularly important or challenging for you as you did that through this process?
Yes, of course. So the biggest challenge was we had written as a team our multiple subject and our single subject program at the same time, but submitted the multiple subject first because that was our first program besides the induction program. And we had to go back and revise a lot of things to incorporate these new literacy standards. So that was probably the biggest challenge because we had the bulk of our coursework done and then had to go back and revise. So again, that was the biggest challenge. I think the main thing that we focused on was a lot of the dyslexia standards and putting in those additional resources. And we also collaborated with some IHEs, United States University, because they're working on it as well. We also connected with another program in San Diego to ask how they're working on incorporating these new literacy TPEs as well. So a lot of it rooted in collaboration and finding these additional resources because all of it is so new, not that the standards are new, but incorporating it is new. So finding the resources that we wanted to use to make sure that they are, legitimate and getting through all of these TPEs because there was a lot. So that was probably the biggest challenge.
Thank you. I'm interested that, maybe now you connected with some people that maybe you might not have if you had just been kind of rolling along.
Definitely. That
Thank
was
you.
the case because we're all in this, together. We all have to put these into existing, well, ours is new, but a lot of, institutions have to put it into existing programs. So we'll all work together.
Yep, support one another, definitely.
Yes.
Member Hallis.
I just want to congratulate you on a well-written proposal. And as we have praised traditional pathways, I really want to thank you for offering increased intern pathways and doing it right in giving more flexible options in this teacher shortage. And we need single subject folks and allowing this opportunity in your area. I just wanted to thank you and congratulate you.
Thank you for saying those kind words.
Thank you. Commissioner Davis. Oh, I'm sorry, Member Leggett.
Hi, good morning, and thank you so much for bringing this program. I wanted to know a little bit more about your robust mentor support. So how do you give ongoing support for the mentor teachers, or tell us more about what that robust mentor looks like?
Sure, I can definitely start, and then Emily Bremer can definitely add on with, she's a hit with the mentors. So all of our interns are actually supplied with an on-site mentor, and they collaborate and meet with these mentors weekly. We also have an online platform for these mentors where the mentors meet with our instructors, and they're provided with ongoing professional development, successful teaching strategies, and they also attend workshops with their candidates. The mentors and candidates attend 4 workshops a year put on by King Chavez. I don't know if you wanted to add to that, Emily.
One of the things I wanted to add to that is something that Ms. Bover and I are working on is a mentor support Padlet for our mentors in all of our respective programs. I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with the Padlet app, but it's just an informal place for people to come together as a community. And that's one of the things that we feel is really important with our mentors is a community feeling so that they have each other to work with. And, working as a mentor can be a little bit isolating because we're all teachers and we all need support. So the Mentor Padlet is just a place for the mentors to come together each month and talk about, well, specifically right now we're working with the induction program standards, all of the mentor things that we want them to work on. So that's one of the things that we're infusing into the intern programs as well, is just a sense of community for our mentors, and we're using the Padlet to do that.
Thank you, Member Cervantes.
Thank you.
Thanks for submitting this proposal. My question's on modality. You mentioned using a system of online and in-person for courses and field work. Can you tell us, how you broke that down, maybe the rationale on which activities you decided? I'm particularly interested in hearing what went online versus what went in person. just so that we can have better understanding of your program?
Sure. So we are an intern program. So all of the teachers are, live in their classrooms, feet first into the classrooms. It starts in their first year of teaching under a district intern credential. And then all of our coursework for the program are online at night because they're teaching during the day. And because we offer it not just in San Diego, it's easier for people to access when it's online. And the cohorts are just like this, Zoom online cohorts as well. And they meet with each cohort. So we have a year 1 cohort, year 2 cohort, and they meet live on Zoom. And then, like I said, the in-person teaching, and they also record themselves teaching for a lot of observations that they submit online so that our instructors can see them live teaching as well. And then the mentors do have to be in person. They don't have to necessarily meet in person every week for their allotted hours, but we require that the mentor is on site wherever they have their teaching position. If that.
Thank you. Any other further comments or questions? Member Cracia.
Good morning, and thank you again for your program. It's very exciting. I do have a question in terms of as you talk about like sustainability and the capacity as it grows, about how many candidates you anticipate, and because I noticed you only have one person that's going to be the credential analyst person submitting recommendations to the CTC.
So right now we only have our multiple subject program up and running, and then hopefully single subject after this. Our first cohort, we actually only had one candidate. And then our second cohort, we have 4 now, and we hope to continue to grow. So I don't have a concrete answer for that, as we hope to continue to grow, like I said. And once the candidate number grows, hopefully we can add more people to become a co-program advisor with me. But we're a 5 charter schools on ground in San Diego. So we have a lot of support coming in from people who work at the school as well. As far as just the program advisor, right now it's me, but we have other instructors who teach the courses. We have the mentors. We have Emily Bremer, who's the induction, who we work with, and Colleen Marble. So even though it's just my name who submits the recommendations, we're hoping to grow and add people to these positions. But right now we just have 5 people in our cozy cohort.
Awesome. Thank you.
Got to start somewhere, right? That's
right.
Good. All right. Any other comments or questions from committee members? Okay, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion to approve the King Chavez Academy of Excellence's preliminary single subject intern pathway program? Member Hallis.
I move we approve the preliminary single subject for King Chavez Academy of Excellence.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Cervantes. Any further discussion? Right. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Yay, and good luck with your program and the growing cohort.
Thank you so much.
Updates later on. Absolutely.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. For those who are waiting with some time certains coming up here, we are about 10 minutes behind. We got a little bit delayed start at the beginning of the meeting, so we are off by about 10 minutes, so we will do our best to make up the time there. We are now for one more program approval. It's Santa Clara County Office of Education Preliminary Multiple Subject Intern Pathway Program. And joining us from Santa Clara County Office of Education to answer any questions you may have about the program itself are Kapalni Thatae, is that right? Kapalni Thatae? Am I close?
It's Kalpana Thatte. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Kapalni Thatae. Thank you very much. Director of Education Preparation Programs, and Adora Fisher, Executive Director. Do we also have Dr. Mary Ann Dewan, County Superintendent, with us?
Dr. Dewan
Okay.
joined us this morning.
Okay. Oh, no worries. Thank you. Any recusals on the item? We have one recusal from Member Lopez. Any others? All right. Thank you. Would the institutional representatives like to say anything about your proposed program?
So I would like to thank the commission, and also I want to thank Poonam. Poonam has been instrumental in helping us and supporting us with this development and the process of getting our program submitted. I can't speak highly enough of CTC staff. We work closely with them in many different areas, and it's an amazing group of people, dedicated to teacher preparation and ensuring that quality teachers are in front of our students. So I just want to, first of all, give a shout out to CTC staff. And then secondly, I want to say that we're really excited about this multiple subject credential. We have had mild, moderate, mod severe, and early childhood education special ed credentials for quite some time. And they are under our educator preparation inclusive classrooms program. And so we are excited because the districts in our region are really looking at inclusion. And our goal with this multiple subject credential is to help support our districts by, at some point, looking at offering multiple subject teachers a special ed credential and special ed credential teachers to add a multiple subject credential, so that our districts can now actually begin to staff with inclusive teachers and teachers who understand and can support special ed students in inclusive classrooms.
Great, thank you.
Kalpana, did you have anything you want to say?
I do want to echo Adora's sentiment, and do want to thank the commission and especially Poonam, who has been so instrumental to when issues offer support and done a tremendous work with us. So we really want to take that opportunity to thank everybody. And as Adora already mentioned, we do have districts, and we work very closely with our districts to provide them qualified teachers who are well versed in all the instructional practices for an inclusive classroom, and that's been our goal. So thank you.
Great, thank you. And thank you again for the accolades to the staff here. They're getting a lot of accolades today, which are well deserved. Poonam, you getting all these? I think that was three shout outs for you. So I think it's a record. But again, thank you for those comments. Yeah, exactly right. We'll give you 3 gold stars. Any committee members have any questions you wish to offer or any comments? Yeah, Member Hallis.
Again, I want to thank you for offering another very strong intern pathway program. I know there's sometimes a misnomer about how intern teachers just show up for the first day of school, and the first time they are exposed to a classroom is when they get the keys to the door. I noticed you had a really strong pre-service component and experiences. Can you just talk a little bit about that and how you ensure these candidates are prepared for day one?
So our intern program is a little different. Our teachers don't receive their intern credential until their second year. So they are not immediately put in classrooms. What we do is immerse our teachers in coursework around pedagogy initially, and then immerse them even further into practice the first 6 months to a year. After that, they then are eligible and prepared in our minds to actually enter a classroom and work and support students. Many programs, and they are good programs, so I'm not, I don't want to say that this is a better way, but to say this is another way. Start their teachers the very first year in internship in a classroom. And what we have found is that if teachers go in with a strong background and understanding of special education or how to educate students, brain-based learning, culturally responsive practices. They enter a classroom more prepared. So our program looks at supporting teachers with pedagogy and practice the very first year, and then the second year actually place them in internships when we feel like they have a real understanding of what they're doing and the students that they will be supporting.
Thank you. Member Leggett. Yes, Member Leggett.
Hi, thank you so much for bringing this program for review. So I have a question. Since your program begins with pedagogy and then the next year is practice, what remediation steps do you have for those that aren't ready for practice?
So we have several remediations in place. First of all, our students receive both what we call a district support provider. So that's somebody on campus who is there to kind of support and help them, as well as a program coach / mentor. The first year of the program, they receive mentoring, and they also are attending coursework, receiving support from instructors who have a similar credential to the course or have the credential in the course that they're teaching. We also offer during that first year support in writing IEPs. Any of our students who are having difficulty either with their pedagogy year or their intern placement year receive additional support through what we call forums. And during those forums, students can attend the forums and present areas they're struggling in, students they might be struggling in. And during those forums, we have advisors who talk to them and support them through any difficulty they might be having. We can also offer additional coaching support outside of their regular mentor. So if they're having difficulty with coursework, for example, we can offer them additional support in that area. We've learned that many of our students, especially our second language students, sometimes struggle with writing. And so we can help support them in writing as well. We also have supports in place for the TPA and additional supports when students are struggling with the TPA. So what we've tried to find is multiple opportunities for students to access support, but that support is specifically identified for their individual area of need. As we all know, not everybody struggles in the same way or has strengths in the same area or areas of growth in the same area. So the additional support is always individualized and targeted for the individual.
Thank you.
Member Tchaikovsky. Oh, I'm sorry, Member Morrison next week. Go ahead, Member Morrison.
Good morning, and thanks also for presenting this program. I'm impressed by the emphasis on coaches and the need for good coaches in the program. I was just wondering, in practical terms, how would someone demonstrate to you that they meet those requirements for the position of coach?
So all of our coaches, go ahead, Kalpana, you can go right ahead.
So, all of our coaches, first of all, we have an application on EdJoin and they apply through that. They are evaluated based on their credentials, their experience, they are interviewed. And after that, once they are accepted as a coach, they go through for the first year, they go through new coaching training, which is provided by our coaching consultant who uses cognitive coaching, some of those ideas, as well as his own created coaching modules, and they all get extensive training in coaching tools and what it means to be a coach. And based on that, then the coaches are matched with the candidate in terms of the credentials. So if a coach has, currently we have, like Adora mentioned, we have ed specialist programs. So a coach has the credential and mild mod, then they are matched with the candidate who has a mild mod credential. So that's how we select coaches. And we work very closely with our coaches throughout the year to ensure that they understand what the coaching is supposed to look like. We really emphasize reflective conversations and helping teachers really tap into their own resources and grow from the coaching experience. Our coaching model is heavily influenced by that coaching design and coaching for really equitable outcomes for our students.
I'd also like to add that we're really lucky because many of our coaches recommend other people to coach in our program. And so we we generally have a waiting list of coaches that would like to work with our program. And that has been developed over the years as we refine the program, and word of mouth has gotten out that the training that we offer and the program that we offer is quality, but is also focused on equity, which is a thread that runs equity and inclusion, which is a thread that runs throughout all of our programs.
That's good to hear. Thanks.
Thank you, Co-Chair Tchaikovsky.
Just super quick comment. I mean, one thing that becomes really obvious to me listening to you speak is how your program has evolved to meet the needs of your students and the teachers in your region. And I'm also really interested in, which has led to what sounds like a promising idea of grafting this multiple subject program onto already working experienced ed specialists. It sounds like that's what you're doing. You're getting people who are interested in working with kids with special needs, and then you're tricking them out with the institutional skills and capital that they need to kind of leverage that experience. So that's cool. That gives kind of a path forward to exactly the kinds of people who have demonstrated a commitment and an interest in working with important constituents among our students. So it's innovative, and it's based on listening to what it sounds like your people need. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from the committee? Commissioner Davis.
Good morning, Kalpana, my former coach. How are you? And I have to say that your message is reaching all of us teachers here in South County. I'm at Gilroy Unified now, and we get your advertisements for programs through the county office for new candidates and mentors. And I want to say you're doing a great job with the advertising there and singing your praises, because as you push forward, if this new program, when this new program is approved, I'm pretty confident that you are going to do some other extraordinary work in this new pathway. And I appreciate it, and congratulations to you both in advance.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Any other further comments, questions? All right, is an action item. Is there a motion? Member McKee.
I move to approve the Santa Clara County Office of Education preliminary multiple subject intern pathway.
Thank you. Well done. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Taylor. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us, Ms. Tate, and also Ms. Fisher. Thank you very much. Congratulations and good luck moving forward.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Have a great day. Right, that now brings us to item 6. Item 6 is the report of program status changes. It's divided into 2 parts. Part 1 includes items for action by the COA, which include request to withdraw, request to reactivate inactive programs, and or request to add a new content area to an existing program. Part 2 provides information on programs that have transitions to revised program standards and programs that have elected to change to inactive status. These items are for notification only and require no action by the COA. Part 1, sections A, B, and C. Section A, program withdrawals. Section A is an action item. There are two program sponsors withdrawing a total of 3 programs. Fresno Pacific University, Education Specialist, Added Authorization, Adapted Physical Education, effective January 25, 2024. University of Antelope Valley, preliminary single subject, effective January 25, 2024. There's also is a note in the agenda item about the UAV program. So hoping you all have read that. They were approved to offer the program, but never actually began their program itself during their IIA provisional period. So the time frame has expired on that. So that one is for action. Are there any recusals? Is there a motion to accept the program withdrawals? Member Cracia.
I move that we accept the program withdrawals
From
Fresno Pacific and University of Antelope Valley.
Good. Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Any further discussion? I'm sorry, second by Member Hallis, Taylor, and Cervantes. Sounds like a law firm, doesn't it? You've reached the law firm of Hallis, Taylor, and Cervantes. Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. On item B, professional preparation programs requesting reactivation. There are no program requests for reactivation at this time. C, adding a new content area to an existing program. Fresno State University is requesting to add the single subject dance content area to their existing program. Joining us from CSU Fresno to answer any questions you may have are Kenneth Ballant, Professor, Director, and Dance Advisor, and Dr. Imelda Basurto, Single Subject Coordinator. Committee members have any questions about the program itself? Seeing none, would any of the institutional representatives wish to offer a comment?
Yes, I would like to say thank you for giving us this opportunity. We're really excited here at Fresno State, but not just for us, but for our potential credential candidates and also for our regional school districts. Because I'm sure as all of you know, the benefits of dance sometimes is not properly recognized. And so having the opportunity to offer a single subject teaching credential in dance, especially at the high school level, is a way to promote the social and emotional well-balance of a student. And that will also have a big impact on academics. So I just want to say thank you for this opportunity. And then,
Yes, thank you. I'm sorry. Mr. Ballant, did you wish to offer any comment? Yeah, I think you might be muted. Oh, yeah, we can't hear you. That's okay. That's all right. I will say the dance credentials and program are long overdue, and so it's nice to see that institutions are starting to implement those. So, yeah, congratulations for implementing them. This is an action item. So, is there a motion by a committee member? Member Hallis?
Move to approve the single subject dance for Fresno State University.
Thank you. Is there a second? Member Cervantes? Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations and sincere good luck with the program.
Thank
you very much for joining us.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you. All right, part 2 of this agenda item, sections D and E, are for notification purposes only and no action is required. Section D are programs that are transitioning. The following institutions have completed the documentation review to transition to recently updated standards for the bilingual authorization effective July 1, 2023. Commission staff is working with the remaining institutions to complete the transition plan, and those institutions will be notified at a future meeting. Those institutions we have are Los Angeles Unified School District, University of California, Davis, and University of Southern California. Section E are programs moving to inactive status, and there are no programs moving to inactive status at this time. Brings us to item 7. Item 7 is initial program approval for new program sponsors. There are one new program sponsor seeking program approval for one new program. Mills College at Northeastern University is seeking to offer the multiple and single subject credential program. Consultant Hart Boyd will present the item, and joining him today are institutional representatives Mike Jackson, Vice Provost of Curriculum and Programs at Northeastern University, and Tomas Galguera, Chair, Humanities and Education Academic Unit at Mills College and Northeastern University. Anyone need to recuse himself? Seeing none, Mr. Boyd, will you please begin?
Yes, thank you. This item presents Mills College at Northeastern's responses to the preliminary multiple and single subject program standards for the committee's consideration and possible approval, as we are in stage 4 of the initial institutional approval process. A team of 2 qualified reviewers collaborated on a review of Mills College at Northeastern's responses and came to a consensus on a final finding of aligned for all program standards, including the new literacy program standard. Additionally, staff reviewed the preliminary multiple and single subject preconditions and interim preconditions and have found them to be met. As a reminder, at the conclusion of stage 3, Mills College at Northeastern was granted provisional approval by the Commission at its June 2023 meeting. It is important to highlight that provisional approval only authorizes an institution to offer educator preparation programs, but it is the determination of the COA which decides whether or not a specific program is approved. The COA has previously approved Mills College at Northeastern's preliminary administrative services in early childhood special education programs. You will find a hyperlink to the final submission and reviewer feedback for the proposed multiple and single subject programs on page 2 of this item. Again, joining us today are Mike Jackson and Thomas Galguera. They will both be available to answer any programmatic questions you may have, and staff is available to answer any process questions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Institutional representatives, would you like to offer any comment? Mr. Jackson, Mr. Galguera.
Good morning. Thank you for considering our proposal. And at the risk of sounding repetitive, I am going to also thank all the work that both Michelle Williams George and Hart Boyd have done in helping us get these proposals to this point. We're very, very excited to have all these credential programs ready to restart here at Mills College at Northeastern University. In fact, it is clear evidence of Northeastern's commitment to doing important work in California. The fact that we're going to be the first cohort, we're going to be bringing the first cohort of students post-merger since all of this has happened. So we're very excited that you're considering this proposal, and we hope that it gets approved so we can get started preparing excellent educators. As the title for our credential programs is Educators for Liberation, Justice, and Joy, and we really take that to heart, and so do the students, the candidates who come to our programs. So thank you for considering our proposals, and thank you for the reviewers for giving us all very, very specific, detailed, and useful feedback that helped us build on the history and the experience and expertise at Mills to revise our programs in a way that is going to be even better for all of us, and especially for schools and educators. We're very much looking forward to being again what will be in fact the first teacher credential program in Oakland, given all the crazy changes lately. So thank you again for your consideration. My dear colleague Mike Jackson, I'm sure, has something else to say.
Yes. Thank you, Tomas. I would first just like to start by thanking Tomas, his faculty, and his team. The work they've done in a very short amount of time has been nothing less than amazing. The work in collaboration has been, I think, really the strength of the way these programs have developed over time. And also like to thank the Commission and Hart and Michelle for the work that they've done as well. Northeastern is very much committed to honoring the legacy of Mills College in teacher preparation, and we're very excited to have these programs launch in the fall and see where we can go. Thank you again.
Okay, thank you both. Any questions or comments from committee members? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Cervantes.
Motion to accept the staff recommendation for the initial program approval of an educator preparation program at Mills College at Northeastern University.
All right, so move. Is there a second? Second by Member Morrison. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you, Mr. Jackson, Mr. Galguera, and thank you also for your shout out to Mr. Boyd. Thank you, Mr. Boyd. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So
I'm
again,
very happy.
Yeah, congratulations, and it's an exciting time for you and a new path. So congratulations. Hope all things go well. Great success in the future.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on to item 8. Item 8 is discussion of institutions not in compliance with accreditation timelines. There are no institutions to report at this time. Moving on to item, that's the shortest item all day. Item 9 is the discussion of the 7th year report for High Tech High. Consultant Miranda Gutierrez will introduce the item, and joining her is institutional representative Sarah Barnes, Director of High Tech High Teacher Center. Anyone need to recuse himself? Seeing none, Ms. Gutierrez, please begin.
Yes, thank you. Good morning, and hi, Sarah. So this is the 7th year report for High Tech High. In February 2023, they held their accreditation site visit, and a decision of full accreditation was made with the 7th year report. At the time of the visit, the team found that all of the standards were fully met. However, they identified a couple of areas where they saw some inconsistency, and so asked for a 7th year report follow-up. Those two areas were in Common Standard 2 and 3. In Common Standard 2, it was about a clearly defined process for candidates who might need extra or guidance and support. The team found that candidates did feel supported. They knew where they could go for help and assistance, but there wasn't a clearly defined process outlined for them to go to. And then for Common Standard 3, the team found inconsistent evidence about training for mentors or supervisors. And so they asked for some follow-up information about that. And so I will go ahead and let Sarah tell you about the actions they've taken over the last year to address these two areas.
Thanks so much, Miranda. Good morning, everyone. I appreciate being here. And it was really nice to hear from the other programs. It can be isolating sometimes when you run a program, and it's so lovely to hear what other folks are doing. We enjoyed our accreditation visit very much last year, and I found that the pushes that were presented to us, they felt really fair, and they also felt like areas that we certainly want to grow in. And the first being making sure that there's a clearly defined process for candidates who need additional support. So since the visit, we've hired an additional person to run something called, we started calling it our critical care support course. And those are our folks that have not met CalTPA, for example, or haven't met RECA requirements, or are struggling to complete coursework. Most of the time, what we found with the struggling to complete requirements is around executive functioning, and how difficult it is to be a new teacher, especially in an intern program. There's so much demand on time. And so we've set up some supports around that by having an actual course where they come, and there's a mentor person to sort of guide them through all those requirements and check in with them on more one-to-one. So that has been really successful. We really try to approach it from a multi-tiered systems of support perspective. So thinking about, okay, how do we provide tier 1 supports to the vast majority of the candidates in our program, and then those that need those tier 2 and tier 3, we have that critical care support. So we have outlined that plan more systematically and more formally, and that's been successful for us. And then the second push was around mentorship and making sure that we had some more strongly defined mentorship trainings. We did have the 10 hours that is required, but my impression of all of it was that the committee, and I would agree, didn't feel it was like very strongly defined. So one of the things that we've added are mentor modules to our trainings so that mentors can have these modules to come back to. We use the work of Elena Aguilar and some around teacher resilience, because so many of our mentors were saying that they were struggling to help sustain folks in the profession, to help them stay and help them feel this sense of resiliency. So we've done a lot of work around that. We are still in the process of launching those fully. So we're starting with a really small cohort, having them test it out and give us feedback. We are actually going to extend that and create a paid opportunity for that cohort so they can really help us further develop it and then become mentor leaders themselves and train our next group. So that's where we're at with that right now. Are there any further clarifications that I might offer? I'm happy to do that.
Thank you. Pardon me. Thank you. Any comments or questions from committee members? Member McKee, then Member Hillis.
First of all, I want to thank you in advance because you answered my question. Because my
Oh,
question
yay.
was actually about was about sustainability, and you shared that you have additional staff supporting you. And now goes to the connecting comment is the clarity of this MTSS plan, the Ed Puzzle training is impressive. In working
thanks.
with a lot of different programs, like how do you build in that level of support? And you're modeling it what you would want teachers to do with MTSS system. And it's broken down with great clarity. The Ed Puzzle, whoever's the speaker on that Ed Puzzle, is very clear and succinct on the information. And I do really see that you have a strong foundation to support those who may be struggling. So I just commend you for that. And I commend you for having the sustainability within your program to support this ongoing.
I really appreciate that. And I have to admit, the voice is actually AI. That might be why it's so clear. It's a good AI voice, but we made a decision as a group because we thought, well, you know, we want that sustainability. We didn't want to be tied to one person in the program. And yeah, so we chose to use an AI voice, which is kind of funny. So thank you for saying that.
AI positive action. We like that.
There you go. I know you can't beat it. You might as well join it. So
you're right.
Yeah.
I hear you. Exactly. Member Hillis.
Yeah. First of all, just again, congratulations on the work you've done and also using AI. I think it's got some really fascinating possibilities for the future. The one question I had with that support that I think you've done a really good job of outlining, what happens like in terms of candidates not being able to come up to speed on that? I mean, we obviously always want our candidates to succeed, but we also know that that's not always possible. And so I'm curious if there's like, do you write in time limits for candidates that they need to meet certain criteria by X date, and then, you know, what the process is from that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, you know, I've been on the call for a little bit. It is interesting to hear how different programs are addressing the sustainability piece. And I think you're right. There's, even with all the supports in place, there's always a few that tier 3, if you will, that really need that extra support. And yes, we do put some timelines in place. We have found that timelines can be helpful, but when you've got those people at the very top that are kind of in crisis mode or really are in crisis mode, the timelines are a good start. But we really need that like personal check-in to see, okay, like what are the barriers that are stopping you from meeting this? Are the barriers personal? So does that mean that we need to adjust your program, maybe give you more time, get an extension for you if it's some sort of like personal crisis? Or are the barriers around executive functioning? Do you need to come actually physically into this space and have that that time to work with somebody one-on-one? So we sort of like, with the top tier, that tier 3, if you will, we look at like, what are your barriers? And we have that critical support teacher to do that with them. The person that we hired to do that is actually a former ed specialist. So she actually implies quite a bit of the same tools and tricks that we'd use with our K-12 students, with our adult learners, in a way that's also affirming and not condescending. And then the other piece, she also is a mental health professional. So she has her the MPS, thank you. So she's able to help them on that end as well. So that would be our more specialized support, but indeed, we definitely have those candidates that even the most robust timelines don't support them in the way that we would hope. In terms of deadlines for them, we do put deadlines on all of our candidates around things like CalTPA and RECA. But usually when folks blow through those deadlines, that's our trigger for us to refer them to that those additional interventions. Did that answer the question?
Yeah, thanks.
I like the phrase affirming and not condescending. That
Mhm.
one sticks. That's a good one.
Thanks.
Co-Chair
Yeah.
Tchaikovsky.
Well, so just two things really quickly, and I must be a little behind the curve. This is the first time I've heard the term executive functioning applied to new teachers. I think that's really interesting.
I
Because
really have
we hear
found, yeah. Meet them
you know,
where they
we think of I think of that in the ed specialist world, and yet they're not super far apart, are they? What's necessary to progress and grow and survive, right? So just two things. I think you mentioned Elena Aguilar and a framework, and certainly not to suggest that any one author or thinker is better than the others, but I think looking at the modules, looking at the coherence of the training, having a framework like that is clearly outlined in terms of having some pedagogical and philosophical foundations, I think is helpful. And you can see that in your program. And then the other one was, my other comment was just in light of how relatively different education goes down at High Tech High. Would you say that the training your people receive is specific to your unique environment, or is it transferable to those of us who are not in a project-based driven environment?
Yeah, thank you for that question. We're really fortunate in that our program, about 50% of our participants are outside of High Tech High. They're with our partner schools. And that has shifted over the years. It didn't used to be that way. We used to have a little small minority of folks that were from outside of High Tech High. But there's been a real benefit is that we do have like a nice vivisection of San Diego schools represented. And so we really have to make sure that our courses and our mentor offerings and our training offerings are applicable in a wide variety of settings. So yes, PBL is one vehicle we definitely hold up as a vehicle for inclusion in our special education populations, as a vehicle for inclusion and equity for all of our students, but we don't see it as the only way. And we certainly have to make sure that our candidates understand that no matter where they teach, that the TPEs are applicable and this is how they are represented. So while I think PBL is important, like project-based learning is important, obviously this is my home, High Tech, and that's an ethos I carry. I do just see it as one vehicle, not the only vehicle for some of the other values that we espouse. And I think that comes through in the programs. And then certainly like when you think about the mentor modules that I know that we're referring to with the questions that I'm getting now, that work is around teacher resiliency. And that wouldn't matter what setting you were in, whether you were in PBL or a very traditional model. That teacher resiliency is something that that's a lever that we need to pull and work on with any teacher in any setting, because as you all know, teaching is extremely hard. We lose a lot in that 0 to year 3. And a lot of that has to do with a lot of factors, but one factor that we can work on is building that resiliency within teachers. And so I think that's why we center the modules around that work. And I think that resiliency factor, it doesn't matter if you're a PBL teacher or a traditional teacher, you need it. So I think that is something I hold in my heart.
Thank you. Any further comments or questions from committee members? Okay, this is an action item. Is there a motion to accept the 7th year report from High Tech High? Motion by member Hillis.
I'd like to make a motion to accept the 7th year report by High Tech High.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by member McKee. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Ms. Barnes. Thank you for joining us in your great
I
descriptions
appreciate
of
all of
things.
you very much. Have a wonderful.
Yep. And your enthusiasm is engaging and invigorating, I guess we'll say.
Well,
that.
thanks.
So we
It's
appreciate
fun
that.
work, isn't it? It's just like, oh
It
yeah,
really
when you
is,
listen
you
to
know?
other people, you're like, yeah, this is a cool job. It's it's a privilege. It's a great.
Well, keeping it cool. Appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, Ms. Gutierrez. Bye-bye. All right, moving on to item 10. Item 10 is a report of the accreditation team to Stanford University. Consultant and morning superstar Poonam Betty will introduce the item. And joining her is team lead Dr. Ann Weisenberg and institutional representatives Dr. Ira Litt, Stanford Teacher Education Program, also known as STEP, faculty director, Ms. Ruth Ann Costanzo, STEP Director of Clinical Work, Ms. Marie Montoy Wilson, Assistant Director of the STEP Multiple Subject Program, and Mr. Jeff Camarillo, Assistant Director of the STEP Single Subject Program. Anyone need to recuse himself? Seeing
We're
none.
still getting people on.
Okay.
Right? Michelle, yes.
We could probably have Poonam start. You think?
Yeah, 1 second.
So we have 2, 3. Okay. So
Hair is doing something crazy.
we need one more.
Michelle, who are we missing? Ruth? Is Ruth joining us?
Ruth
she's
Ann's
there.
here. She's in the room with me.
Oh, okay,
Perfect.
great. Okay. So
Okay.
we have everyone here.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you very much. Anyone need to recuse? I think I asked that already. Seeing none. All right, Ms. Boudet, will you please begin?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, committee members. Item 10 presents the accreditation site visit team's report for Stanford University. The site visit occurred virtually from October 15th to 18th in 2023. I would like to take a moment to express my gratitude to the Stanford Teacher Education Program, STEP, team and the leadership of the representatives that are here with us today, Ira, Mari, Jeff, and Ruth Ann. The conversations that we had in the months leading up to the site visit were insightful. It really was a pleasure working with the STEP team as they worked diligently to ensure everything was made available and made clear to the site visit team. The site visit team members and I were very impressed by the dedication, the grit, and the drive to improve the education system across every constituent group that was interviewed. There was no doubt, only appreciation in regard to how the STEP team prepares their candidates to be leaders in the field. I would also like to thank the individuals that were interviewed during the site visit and other personnel at Stanford who had a role in preparing for the site visit. In addition, I'd also like to thank the site visit team members for their time and for being part of the site visit. And finally, I'm grateful for Ann, our team lead, who supported the team members and the site visit process. And I will now actually turn the presentation over to Ann to provide her thoughts on the site visit and then walk through the team's findings and their accreditation recommendation.
Good morning, sunshines. And did you call Poonam a rock star earlier? I agree with that. She really is.
Indeed.
So I want to thank the entire accreditation team, which was Keith, Patricia, and Rihanna, for their hard work and commitment to ensuring STEP received a fair and thorough evaluation. Poonam, the rock star, who was our state consultant, was fabulous. She was always one step ahead of everyone. So it was like we needed something, it was already there. She was wonderful. I would also really like to thank STEP, and especially this leadership team that is here today. They too they were on top of everything. They were so well prepared. They were very professional and they were very inviting. We were very sad that we had to be in a virtual visit, but even through that virtual visit, we started feeling like part of that team and we were welcome and everything was just so smooth. They really did an outstanding job. So STEP should be very proud of their accomplishments. Throughout our visit, we really felt that they were a community that is proud of their program and its accomplishments. And moreover, they all really realized the privilege they have of working at a renowned university and the support that it provides. And I feel like all of their stakeholders felt exactly the same way. The team encountered an engaged unit of professionals dedicated to candidate success and to developing educators to meet both the practical and intellectual challenges of the teaching profession, to serve the needs of the diverse population of today's students, and to revitalize the profession and the field by preparing educational leaders for tomorrow's school. So when we first met with them, I don't remember if it was the dean or I don't remember who it was, but they used that they had the STEP tenets of joy, justice, community, love, and equity to all. And we saw that, and they really do live that tenet. So based on that fact that the team found that all standards were met in common standards and program standards, I am proud to report on behalf of the entire accreditation team that we recommend the STEP unit to be fully accredited.
All right. Thank you so much, Dr. Weisenberg. At this point, we're going to offer an opportunity for any institutional representatives to offer any comment you wish to make.
Thanks so much. I'll offer just a few brief words of appreciation, if folks don't mind. First, want to thank our review team, ably and thoughtfully led by Anne. Thank you so much for a really thoughtful and insightful visit. Second, we want to appreciate all the CTC staff who were really helpful in lifting up this important but sometimes challenging work, with extra special appreciation for Poonam, our CTC consultant. She offered wise counsel, steady and reassuring guidance, and a wealth of expertise and deep professionalism. We're deeply appreciative of all of her support, but also the wonderful opportunity to connect with her as a colleague, which we hope will persist for a long time to come. The accreditation review also provided us a useful opportunity for our team to reflect on current practices in light of state expectations, but also in light of our own mission and core values, as Anne noted, which are joy, justice, community, love, and equity. And it, for us, which we hope it is for all institutions across the state, was a really valuable and important learning opportunity, and we're appreciative for that. And I'm appreciative for all of my colleagues for taking advantage of that opportunity in the process. Speaking of colleagues, I want to offer an appreciation for everyone who makes this important and challenging work possible, from university leadership, faculty, staff, students, alums, and our clinical partners, all of whom are essential in all the work we're able to do. And every one of them brings brilliance and commitments to this work every single day. It is, I also want to underscore a special appreciation for our leadership team, Jeff, Madi, and Ruth Ann. Their amazing work, dedication, and leadership are all over this report, and I want to highlight the work that they do in and out every day. And lastly, the exceptional work that we were able to provide was organized by an incredible coordinating team of Teresa Grant and Elizabeth Chesler, and so I want to elevate some support for them as well. Thanks to the this accrediting body and to all the staff who do the behind the scenes work that make all this possible, both for our institution and all the others across the state. It's important work, and we're grateful for it.
Great, thank you for your comments. Anybody else from the institution wish to offer any comment? All right, seeing none, any questions or comments from committee members? Member Cracia.
Good morning. Just a quick question in terms of your alumni survey that you guys conducted. You had the results from 2020, and I was just curious, how are you doing in terms of sustaining that survey, and how often do you guys do that? And, you know, how are you doing in terms of getting responses? Because I know just from experience in my own program that it's very difficult to get that follow-up from employers. So I'm just curious as to how you guys do that.
Great. Thanks for the good question. We started this alumni survey over a decade ago and ran it pretty successfully for a little over 10 years. We took a pause during the pandemic for a variety of reasons that are maybe obvious, but you know, most of it is we're dealing with lots of other emergent situations, as were all of our alums in and out of schools, and so tasking folks to that additional demand didn't seem prudent nor aligned with our values and the sort of emergency conditions. We relaunched the survey more recently. We're actually doing a more thorough review right now in conversation with a lot of colleagues, both across the state and nationally, to sort of align some of our work with the work of others. So that's kind of the behind the scenes piece of it. In terms of success, you know, there's some direct strategies for surveying that we tend to use, which probably others rely on. We give lots of opportunities. We do have some modest incentives, lots of different communication strands. So it's not only coming from one office, but many others. But at the end of the day, I think our success is based on the community that we build with our students and the extended sort of familial relationship we have with both our students and our alums. I mentioned, our alums and the long list of folks who make this work possible. Everybody in our program is deeply committed to its success. And so that allows us on occasion to draw on them as a resource to support our work. It also helps to just have a well-refined tool that's pretty short, and so that demand is reasonable for practicing teachers. And so we try to be really thoughtful about that. So those are some of the things that we do, but just to maybe dig in a little bit more into that detail at the end of the day, once we get maybe up to 40-50% participation rates, we have individual supervisors who worked with teacher candidates when they were in the program reach out to alums to encourage them to participate, and noting, it's important. And then we share back with our alums some of the things that we learn so that they know that we're using, right, what they contribute to us in ways that are valuable to the work. So hopefully that's helpful.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Any other committee member have any comment or question? Commissioner Davis.
I even put on my Stanford hat for this one. Thank you all for such a robust report. We appreciate it. And Dr. Litt, I remember coming to your office, and we have got to get back to writing on the walls, because that's a great experience. So if you haven't gotten to the campus, you got to get there and you got to go visit and take them out for Italian food. I'm just telling you, it's a great restaurant. Anyway, and congratulations to all of you. Thank you for the presentation.
Thanks, Commissioner Davis. We appreciate it.
Any other further comment? Writing on the walls, that's an interesting one. We're going to have to ask you for a screenshot of that. Any other comments or questions? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Cervantes.
I motion that we accept the staff recommendation of accreditation for Stanford University's STEP program.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Hillis. Any further comment or question? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries unanimously. Congratulations. Thank you for joining us, Dr. Lick, Dr. Costanzo, Dr. Montoya Wilson, Dr. Camarillo, Dr. Weisenberg, and Ms. Beatty. Thank you so much. And have a great day. Thank you.
Thank you all. We really appreciate it.
Thank you, Commissioner. We're moving on. Moving on to item, yes.
Did that motion single out the STEP program, but there's also a bilingual authorization program? And in an abundance of caution, wanting to avoid problems with accreditation down the line, should we amend that motion to ensure that it includes everything?
Let me take a, I'm going quite back into my notes here on this.
I think it was for
yeah,
for Stanford University in general. Yeah, teacher preparation.
But I appreciate you bringing
Apologies.
it up. Yes. No worries, Kevin. Thanks for bringing that up.
Didn't want to question my colleague in any way.
No.
But, just wanted to support.
No, that's fine.
Stanford's
And
that's good.
just remember, that side of the table is the trouble side. Kevin, you're on the good side now. You're supposed to, no.
But on that note, if I could
That's a
just
good
make
thank you, though.
when you make your motions, it's actually a team recommendation. It's not the staff's recommendation.
Got it.
Just so you just.
Good point. That's
I wasn't going to bring that up, but since we have an opening.
yeah, thank you. And again, Kevin, seriously, thanks for bringing that up just in case. Right. And also just wanted to remind you, we didn't necessarily need to put that discussion here, but the table that we have here before us as far as accreditation actions that we can make as a committee. So just consult that as we go through the rest of today and also tomorrow's meetings. All right, we're moving on to item 11. This is the time we usually take a break, but we are a little bit behind. So I want to be sure, if you don't mind, if we keep pushing through. So we're on to item 11. It's the report of the revisit team to Pasadena Unified School District. Consultant Karen Sacramento will introduce the item, and joining her today is team lead Dr. Melissa Meets Hall, and institutional representatives Hannah Lee, TOSA representative, Dr. Sergio Canal, Chief of Human Resources, and Dr. Jen Alcazar, Director of Human Resources. Anyone need to recuse himself? We have one recusal, Member McKee. All right, seeing no others, Ms. Sacramento, will you please begin?
Yes, I will. Good morning, committee members. I'm actually a little daunted to go after Poonam this morning. But I'll do my best. So I'm very glad to report on this revisit to Pasadena Unified School District that was held on January 9th and 10th. This was really the full circle of continued actions taken by Pasadena Unified School District to address the stipulations that resulted from their November 2022 site visit. At the January 2023 COA meeting, the accreditation status granted to Pasadena Unified was accreditation with major stipulations. And there was further directive for Pasadena to submit quarterly reports, which was done throughout 2023, and then for Pasadena to hold a revisit 1 year out. So from there, Pasadena Unified School District has spent the last year diligently and very strongly addressing the stipulations and has worked very closely with staff and with other teacher induction program leaders to seek guidance and implement changes. In regard to this report, the January 2024 accreditation revisit focused on those stipulations from the site visit, and this report provides the full information on those cumulative changes Pasadena Unified School District has made to address the stipulations, and then the verification of this through interviews with program constituents. I'd like to take a moment to thank Elizabeth Heinberger, who offered so much support before and during the revisit, and Melissa Metzhall for her truly expert leadership. And I will turn it over now to the team lead, Dr. Metzhall, to provide further detail.
Well, thank you, Karen. Hello, everyone, esteemed co-chairs and committee members and colleagues in the field. It's my honor to be here with you and present the findings and the resultant recommendations for Pasadena Unified School District. It's great to see the Pasadena staff here. Thank you. I'm glad that you're all here together. This really was a wonderful revisit experience from the planning and the carrying out the interviews and then being able to very strongly have very supported conversations with my colleague. My partner on this was Elizabeth, who was part of that initial team. I have a lot of details in the report, and I know that you all do your very thorough reading beforehand. I have some things I would like to call out, though, in particular, positives. I hope that you're going to be able to hear from the program leadership as to this nature of collaboration and what got them to this point, a year out from that prior visit. So thank you again to Elizabeth and to Karen as the consultant. So a few pieces of contextual information, and I'm just checking my notes, I want to make sure I'm factual here for you all. Since the initial visit last year, there have been multiple staff changes in relation to the induction program and executive level leadership in the district. We were able to interview all of those folks, several new folks that you do see here on the screen, and including the interim superintendent. What we heard repeatedly were these notions of understanding of what you are called to do. What you are called to do to support teacher educator growth. Retention too. You bring folks into the profession, you want to retain them, and you understand how you need to support them. I would like to go ahead and reference the full report and then just bring to life, as I said, a few of the items that I think are of note that will help the COA understand what we saw and what we heard and why we're making the recommendations that we're making. First of all, I may be off on my page numbers, but if we take a look at the interview table, the interviews conducted, and we look at the number of candidates that were interviewed, 81, and we think back to a year, the lesser numbers. When we look at the number of site administrators and we see the number of mentors, those robust numbers. In fact, I think we had some interview groups where we had more people attend than we maybe even had thought. I think that speaks volumes to people's understanding and investment in a successful program. Then I'm going to go to page 9. Again, my apologies if my page numbers are off a bit. But what we tried to do in each of these revisit findings is we tried to paint the picture briefly of what we found back in November of 22, and then shift, if you will, into those changes. So particularly, you're going to see these changes called out. There's now a full-time lead, that's Hannah. There's increased staffing, additional staffing, credential analysts. There's investment in an LMS, a learning management system, which has greatly, I'll say greatly improved their ability to house candidate records, to track records, to use surveys. There's just so much that's come because of these changes. So I think that is one area of reason as to why the progress has been made. Let me see, I had one other piece really. As I said, the induction lead, I have details of that on page 10, but then there's also this new level of mentors, and that those mentors have been trained in how to give feedback, how to use rubrics, and they've really enhanced the experience. I'll leave that portion there. I just want to use a couple of quotes that aren't in the report, and then I'm sure you're going to want to hear from program leadership. But what was really different this time was the administrators understanding their role and understanding how those triad meetings benefited their teachers. The administrators were able to talk about positive bridging and follow-up. And they also felt the sense that the administrators made of those triad meetings was it was helpful to have new teachers, and they felt that those triad meetings helped new teachers feel comfortable and helped them be able to talk with those teachers. I know time is tight, so I think I will leave that portion there. You will see, as in each of those recommendations, we are recommending that those stipulations be removed, and then that would lead to full accreditation. That is our recommendation. Just a couple things, it was diligent partnership, focused program leadership, fiscal support, all of those that brought about this dramatic change. And it's my pleasure always to be of service and to be of support in all of our ongoing efforts of continuous improvement. So thank you. And I guess I'll hand it back over to Karen, or you all COA members.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. And we invite the institutional representatives at this moment to make any comment about the revisit. Remind you, it's not a time to dispute the team's report, but rather provide any thoughts that you may have about the visit itself.
Thank you. I can go. Hello, everyone. My name is Sergio. I'm the Chief Human Resources Officer. We just want to start by saying that I'm deeply honored to address you today. The guidance and the professional assistance provided by Dr. Melissa Metzi-Hall, Ms. Elizabeth Heimberger, and Ms. Karen Sacramento has been invaluable throughout this critical process. And I extend my heartfelt thanks for their unwavering support. I am immensely grateful to our Board of Education and our exceptional interim superintendent, Dr. Blanco, for their steadfast guidance and generous financial support. Their commitment has been a driving force. I want to take a moment to highlight that the remarkable impact that a singular, dedicated individual who has overseen our induction program can have. That would be Hannah. Hannah's tireless efforts have been instrumental in affecting positive changes and aligning our program with the highest standards. Her passionate commitment has truly made a difference, and I'm deeply proud to say that I know her very well. I'm also pleased to acknowledge the swift and earnest response from the Pasadena Unified School District teachers, administrators, to understanding the stipulations previously presented. Our PUSD staff's dedication to addressing the concerns promptly reflects a shared commitment to excellence. I'm filled with gratitude for the collective efforts with everyone involved. We have achieved a significant milestone, and I'm confident that our commitment to excellence will continue to guide us towards even greater success. Thank you for all that you do for staff and for students.
Thank you so much. Any other member of the institution wish to offer any comments?
Thank you, Dr. Cannell. I am Jen Alcazar. I'm the Director of Human Resources here in Pasadena. I'd like to, again, echo Dr. Cannell's sentiments. And I would like to also just really say that I'm proud to be part of a team that is so collaborative. We, both Dr. Cannell and myself, were longtime classroom teachers, and so we really understand the importance of really not only recruiting our new teachers, but also supporting them and keeping them here in the district where they're doing their wonderful work with our students. I also, big pat on the back to Hannah. She has been laser focused on everything that we need to do to really show that level of support to our teachers, who then in turn show that to our students. So I would like to just reaffirm that we are dedicated to continuing to collect feedback, making continuous improvement. And I'm excited. Our program's only going to get better. So thank you for the vote of confidence. And we're excited to continue to do this work.
Great, thank you. And I guess the one where everybody speaks about, and is it Ms. Lay or Ms. Lee? Would any comment you wish to make?
Sure, thank you. Thank you so much for allowing us to be here today. I just got, somebody just told me recently, Hannah, there's no fire. You're always looking like you're running around like there's a fire. And I said, you know, it's really important to me. This visit was really important to me. All the changes that have been made, you know, lit a fire, and we took action right away. And as Dr. Hall had mentioned, the robust numbers that came out, I think that is due to the fact that people now really clearly understand the vision and mission of this work. And the mentors are on fire. They want to make sure that they are supporting their candidates in the best way that they can, and that the collaborations that have been made between the teacher induction program and community members, IHEs, have also really strengthened the program, as well as the steering committee that I so rely on, that are composed of both returning and new mentors to give me guidance as we move forward and continue to make positive changes. And I just wanted to thank everyone, both Dr. Hall, Ms. Elizabeth Heimberger, Ms. Karen Sacramento, and my leadership for just responding, for listening. And because of that, I was able to do the work that was needed.
Thank you so much. I like the combination of listening and responding. You can't have one without the other. So I really appreciate the fact that that was thrown in there. Thank you for mentioning that. Any committee member have any comments or questions? Co-Chair Tchaikovsky.
Yay. Maybe that's enough right there. I mean, clearly this report illustrates a lot of work, collective rehoning of your vision, a sense of purpose, coherence, connecting all the dots together. So thank you a lot for doing that. And I'm reminded as a COA member of one of the best aspects of our state system, because there's a lot of positive energy coming out of this revisit presentation, which could, under other conditions, be seen as this, negative event. When you have stipulations, it might have a negative connotation. But I want to just thank and acknowledge everybody who's been involved in this process, notably you and the staff and everybody else, so that this is improving how our new teachers are set up to serve their students. I mean, ultimately, that's what this is all about. And so thank you for doing everything you did to clearly create something of which you're obviously proud. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other further comments, questions? All right, saying none, this is an action item. Is there a motion to accept the team's recommendation? Member Hallis.
I move that we accept the team recommendation to remove all stipulations and that Pasadena Unified's accreditation status be changed from accreditation with major stipulations to accreditation.
Thank you. Well stated. Is there a second? Member Morrison. I'm sorry. All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you and congratulations. That's some major work you did. So I really do appreciate your efforts. So enjoy the rest of the day, Ms. Lay, Dr. Cannell, Dr. Alcazar, Dr. Metzhall, and of course, Ms. Sacramento. Thank you all. Right, moving on to item 12. Item 12 is the report of the accreditation team to Mount Diablo Unified School District. Consultant Hart Boyd is back with us to present the item. He is joined by team lead Levon Chastain, institutional representatives Christina Filios Yanakopoulos, Assistant Director of Educational Services, Patricia Scott, Teacher Induction and Support Program Coordinator, and then also Kirsten Watson, Teacher Induction and Support Program Coordinator. Anyone need to recuse themselves? Right, seeing none, Mr. Boyd, will you please begin?
Do we have our institutional reps here? I don't see them. All right.
We are here. We're trying to figure out our settings.
Okay.
All right. Well, while you're doing that, I guess I could.
Yeah, you can begin. It's fine. Yep.
Mount Diablo Unified School District site visit took place from October 15th through the 16th, 2023. The site visit was conducted virtually rather than in person, and a total of 120 interviews were completed with various constituencies, and the site visit proceeded in accordance with all normal accreditation protocols. Everyone at Mount Diablo USD was great to work with, especially the program leadership team, who were extremely thorough and thoughtful in their preparation for the site visit. Again, joining us today via technology and representing Mount Diablo USD is the leadership team consisting of Christina Filios Yanakopoulos, Patricia Scott, and Kirsten Watson. Also joining us today is the site visits team lead, Levon Chastain. Levon was fantastic to work with and was a very knowledgeable and thoughtful leader throughout the process. I would also like to thank each of the members of our site visit team for contributing their time and expertise to this visit. The team worked diligently in preparation for the visit and worked extremely hard during the visit. I'll now stop and turn it over to Levon, who will present the findings and the team's accreditation recommendation. Thank you.
Thank you, Commission. First, I'd like to thank you for allowing, allowing me the opportunity to serve as the team lead for the site visit and to present the findings for Mount Diablo Unified School District Teacher Induction Program. I'd like to also thank our team, as Hart just mentioned, Lori Goldstein and Michelle Shostall, for their unwavering dedication to the accreditation work for Mount Diablo, as well as our CTC consultant, Hart Boyd. We were able to accomplish so much of this work because of his leadership and guidance. So thank you, Hart. And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't acknowledge and thank the amazing team at Mount Diablo. Kirsten Watson and Patty Scott, the induction coordinators, hi ladies, and Christina Filios, the Assistant Director of Ed Services. Through this process, their organization, responsiveness to all of our questions and requests, and overall welcoming attitude made this visit go smoothly and without issue. I must say the coordinators are truly the heart of this program and only have the success of their candidates in mind when making any program change or decision. I know that I can speak for the whole team when I say we were all very impressed with their overall organization of program artifacts, the ability to capture all voices within the program, and the very clear positive program impact. Through this process, the ultimate goal of continuous improvement was always the forefront of the leadership at Mount Diablo. There are so many things that I could highlight regarding this program, but for time's sake, I would like to speak to just the one common thread that was evident throughout the whole site visit. The Mount Diablo mentors go above and beyond to meet candidates where they are and provide the utmost professional support possible. As one candidate said, my mentoring was a special time to think and talk about my teaching, and the regular check-ins with me ensured I was doing what I said I'd be doing and pushed me in a safe way to do better. And Commission, isn't that what we hope all mentors would do for new teachers? Through artifacts and interviews, the team came to the following decision. All preconditions were found to be met, as were the common standards and program review. So you can understand why the team came to a unanimous decision for full accreditation for the Mount Diablo Unified School District Teacher Induction Program.
Thank you, Ms. Chastain. We now invite institutional representatives to briefly comment about the visit. We remind you it's not a time to dispute the team's report, rather provide any thoughts that you had about the visit itself.
Okay, well, we can start. First, we just really want to thank our review team. This is it can be a daunting process for sure. And Levon asked us all the right questions. Thank you so much. And really kind of gently pushed us to be the best program that we can be, and gave us things to think about. Hart prepared us and supported us every step of the way, so we knew what was coming and we were able to be organized and prepare for the visit. Lori and Michelle were also very kind and supportive. It was warm, and we really felt like the folks who were interviewed on our behalf had a safe environment to respond about their experiences with our program. And although it was a stressful process, we really want to appreciate the CTC for this opportunity to reflect and grow our program. We, over the past years preparing for this, really were able to refine what we do and bring it into a sharper focus. So we are so thankful.
We'd also like to thank our community partners, our mentors, teachers, and site administrators for all the support they gave us coming together for the interviews, giving us artifacts. They were amazing. I'm glad you feel the same way. We feel our mentors are the most committed, passionate, and skilled folks out there supporting new teachers. Our new teachers are very hardworking. They're willing to grow in their practice and support the students. And we are also very appreciative of the support we receive from our site administrator. They're our wonderful thought partners. So thank you very much.
And of course, we need to save the best for last. We are really thankful to have our fearless leader, Christina Filios, who provides us with all the guidance and support, and also the independence to make the decisions that we know is right for our team and our teachers. So I don't know if you can chime in, Christina.
My apologies. Can you hear me? I don't know if you can. I'm playing a different role today. Thank you. I'm on a third grade field trip at a planetarium, so you can imagine. But I do want to take the opportunity to thank the CTC for your consideration, to thank Hart for our preparation and his support, to thank Levon for leading an amazing visiting team. This was a wonderful experience for our team, an opportunity for reflection and growth. And really, the strength of our program is in our coordinators and our mentor team. They are committed, they are caring, they are reflective, they are equity focused. And at the end of the day, our goal, our collective goal, is to support our newest educators so that they can make the biggest impact for all of the students in our district. So we thank you for the opportunity to share about our program, and we appreciate your thoughtfulness and your support in the process.
Great, thank you. Now to opportunity for committee members to offer any questions or comments. Member Morrison.
Hi, good morning. I have a question about the number of program completers and candidates enrolled. This year you have 104. Last year there was only 44 completed. I'm just wondering, does that represent an expansion of your program, or did you have a whole lot of people who didn't complete the program in the year before?
No, we have an excellent completion rate in our program. Our mentors support their teachers in growing and ensuring they're making progress towards mastery of the CSTP. This year, we have 104 between first years and second years, and we are experiencing some turnover. We have folks retiring and new teachers coming in. We also we have a lot of international teachers coming from Mexico and Spain and Philippines and all over this year, more than usual. And we're still sort of coming off of COVID, and there were some folks who were able to join our program with COVID extensions, and then others who were not able to come in, who were still finishing up requirements and now have finished those requirements and are eligible to join our team.
That makes sense. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other committee member? Looking at Member Hillis, just be sure I don't miss you out of the corner of my eye. We're good? Okay. Anybody? Commissioner Davis.
I want to again echo what I've said before. Thank you for the robust report. And hello, Christina Filios. We worked together 23 years ago in Morgan Hill Unified at the same school site. Anyway, good luck on your third grade trip today.
All right, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Hillis.
I'd like to make a motion that we accept the team's report for accreditation for the Mount Diablo Unified School District program.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Cracia. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? All right, motion carries. Thank you so much, Ms. Yanakopoulos, Ms. Scott, Ms. Watson, Ms. Chastain, and of course, Mr. Boyd. Thank you all. And again, enjoyed the field trip. I want to ask you what's for lunch. I imagine Cheetos or something like that, right?
Bag lunch only.
Yeah, of course. All right. Thank you all and have a great day. Congratulations. While we're getting set up for the next one, getting the others online here, just want to make a comment. Something that's been a thread that's been running all the way through today is how many people are involved in the process, beginning at the institution themselves. And they're all speaking about the support they get there and how many are involved with the mentors in the community, and then how many people within the CTC with the program reviewers, the BARs, the team, that does a site visit. You have the staff here, and there's so multiple steps integrated so carefully through the process. We talk about the California education system. It's so solid the way that it is set up for the structure of this. So again, just congratulations and kudos to all who are out there listening and us in the room here. So again, congratulations. It's just really a joy to see such progress being made. All right, looking at item 13. It's the discussion of the 6-month follow-up report to address stipulations for Stella Charter Middle Academy. Consultant Dr. Timothy Weeks will introduce the item, and joining him are institutional representatives Ashley Colburn, Director of Teacher Induction and Development, Nicole Wellman-Noble, Vice President of People Development, and Clara Garay. Is it Gary or Gary? Garay?
It's Garay.
Garay, thank you. Assistant Director of Teacher Induction and Development. Does anyone need to recuse himself? All right, seeing none. Dr. Weeks, will you please begin? Dr. Weeks, pardon me, will you please begin?
Yes, good morning, committee members. Item 13 is a 6-month report from Stella Middle Charter Academy, which I'll refer to as SMCA going forward. So SMCA operates a teacher induction program. They were in stage 5 of the IIA process and hosted a provisional site visit in March of 2023. In May of the same year, Michelle Williams-George, the site visit consultant, brought the provisional site visit report before this body with a recommendation of accreditation with stipulations. Subsequently, the report went to the commission at its June 2023 meeting, and the commission moved to grant SMCA the status of accreditation with stipulations, with the requirement that the stipulation be addressed and presented to the COA within 6 months of time frame as designated in the report. A link to the 6-month report can be found on page 1 of this item, and that link will take you to the full 6-month report on the SMCA accreditation website. There is also a link on that page to the March 2023 provisional site visit teams report. The stipulation in question, located towards the bottom of page 1, reads the following: that within 6 months, the institution will provide evidence of 1, a clearly defined process to identify and support candidates who need additional assistance to meet competencies, and 2, clear and documented procedures for candidates to repeat portions of the program as needed. If you scroll down to page 2 of this item, you will see a summary of the actions taken by SMCA to address both parts of the stipulation. And joining us this morning, we have the institutional representatives as named to present any questions or answer any questions you may present. In conclusion, the staff's recommendation is that the COA accept the report from SMCA, take action to remove the stipulation and that Stella Middle Charter Academy accreditation status be changed from accreditation with stipulations to accreditation. And if requested, Stella Middle Charter Academy will submit a 7th-month report in April of 2024. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Weeks. The 7-year report?
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you. We now invite institutional representatives to briefly comment about the report.
It's great to see y'all again. As all the programs, I want to start off by expressing my gratitude. Dr. Weeks jumped right in this year. After Michelle Williams-George supported us last year, and he jumped in with so much support, so many questions, and pushed us in all the great ways. So thank you so much for that. And also Karen Sacramento, who also jumped in and supported our program. I really appreciate this process. I know most programs talk about it as this big, like stressful thing, but it really has pushed us to be better. And it really has truly impacted our program and the development of our mentors and our teachers. It's been very collaborative. We've been able to reach out to other programs. Shout out to Cluster 4. I'm a little biased, but we're doing amazing things, as well as our advisory board, our mentors, our teachers, and really engage in the conversations that keep our core values at the heart of being a human-centered, equity-based program, but also doing the things that we need to do in order to support our candidates' progress through the program. So I do appreciate the feedback, and I appreciate all your time. And it's really resulted in us being more proactive and being able to support mentors and meet teachers where they are, ultimately in service of students. So we look forward to your feedback and your questions today.
Great, thank you. Any other member of the institution wish to offer any comments?
Yes, thank you. Good morning, all. And I just want to echo Ashley's comments and feelings of heartfelt gratitude for the work that the CTC and COA does to ensure program quality across the state. It's a huge task, and we've really appreciated the support throughout the site visit and the stipulation process. Additionally, I wanted to say thank you to Timothy for asking us thoughtful and comprehensive questions to support us in thinking through these program refinements. And wanted to share that as a result of the feedback from this process, we believe our program has become even stronger, and the updated systems that we put into place as a result of the feedback you all have provided us have allowed us to really differentiate support and provide a supportive environment for mentors and teachers to proactively get the support that they need. As Ashley mentioned, a core tenet of our program is process over product, and we do believe that the updated processes we put into place really support that core philosophy with your support to make that happen. And ultimately, at the end of the day, the processes that we have in place and that have been refined through this process have supported our mentors' development, our teachers' development, and ultimately centers our students, which is the critical reason we're all here. And I'd just like to close in thanking my fabulous teammates and colleagues. I know everyone knows and recognizes that this process can be challenging and work intensive at times. And Ashley Colburn, our Director of Teacher Induction and Development, as well as our lead induction mentor, Clara Garay, who you see here today, have just continued to lead us in effectively developing mentors and have such a true commitment to the process of continuous improvement in service of equity for all of our students. So I just want to appreciate them today. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. And then Ms. Gade, did you want to offer any comments? Not required, just if you have an opportunity, we'd like to take it. Okay. All right. Okay, fine. Thank you so much. And then any questions or comments from committee members? All right, seeing none, this is an action item. Do we have a motion to accept the report from Stella Charter Middle Academy? Member Morrison.
I move we accept the report from Stella Charter Academy.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Member Taylor, any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, motion carries. Congratulations. Thank you so much, Ms. Colbert, Ms. Wellman Noble, Ms. Gade, and also Dr. Weeks. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. And we are back on schedule. We are down a half hour, and now we are back on line time. So thank you. If you need to stand up and stretch, committee members, please do so. You just staying in a room where we hear everything that's going on in here. If you really need to step out for a brief moment, you can, but we're going to keep moving forward. But the idea is if you want to stand and stretch your legs and kind of walk and but still be present here in the room, that would be appreciated. One more thing I also want to mention is that as the teams come, the institutions come forward, and they always speak about being tentative, apprehensive about the program, but they want to do what's best for the program, and the willingness of them to participate in the process and the receptiveness to that, and then the work of the team that's on the site visit and everybody else, it just makes them feel so comfortable. And everyone emerges with a deeper understanding of the program and a great appreciation for having gone through it. You know, it's like looking in the mirror. Who wants to look in the mirror sometimes? You don't want to. But when we do, we get the support that we need with people who listen and are responsive and receptive to what we have. Then it just makes for a great growth process. So, all right. So moving on, we are ready now. We got a report of the accreditation team to Fullerton School District. Consultant Roxanne Perdue will introduce the item, and joining her is team lead Stacy Tizer and institutional representatives Patricia Childs, program coordinator of educational services, and Dr. Erlinda Soltero Luis, chief academic officer. Any committee member need to recuse himself? Seeing none, Ms. Perdue, will you please begin?
Good morning, everyone. Yes, we're still morning, so that's exciting. I didn't know you were going to make it up so fast, so I was emailing my people along the way saying, be prepared. But so great job. Also, I don't want to brag. This is a little outside, but Poonam's moving into my office right now to share with me, so I have her. It was my pleasure to serve as the state consultant for the Fullerton School District induction program for this site visit. As noted, we'll have our team lead joining us via Zoom today and our institutional representatives. The institutional representatives, in addition to their responsiveness to the details during the planning process, I'd like to thank them specifically for their preparation and organization throughout. It was excellent. In particular, we'd like to thank them for their kind virtual hospitality in working with the site visit team and assuring that all their needs were met during the visit. The visit took place virtually through Zoom on October 23rd through 25th, 2023. As you've seen in the report, Fullerton School District Induction Program serves as the lead educational agency to a consortium that includes Winna Park School District and La Habra City School District. The team reviewed extensive documentation in advance of the virtual site visit, interviews, and team deliberations. Monday and Tuesday, the team interviews were conducted via Zoom. Interviews extended through late Tuesday afternoon, and the team met daily to discuss findings and finalizing the accreditation recommendation late on Tuesday and presenting that summary report to the institution on Wednesday morning. I'd like to thank specifically Stacy Tizer, our team lead, for her excellent support and leadership that were provided both to the team and the institution, and in working with me, of course, too. And our two other BIR members. I'd like to thank all of our BIR members because I get to work with them for program review too. And just the dedication and support and volunteering that we get is excellent here at the commission. She will, now our team lead, Stacy Tizer, will give an overview of the site visit. She'll summarize the findings and rationales of the team, and then she'll provide the team's recommendation based on those findings. Stacy?
Thank you. It was a privilege for the site visit team to verify the work of the Fullerton School District Induction Program. The induction program serves 76 teachers across 3 school districts. The program coordinator and 4 induction program leadership team mentors are responsible for the day-to-day running of the FSD induction program. In addition to running the program and mentoring candidates, the program leadership team mentors are full-time teachers. All constituents were highly appreciative of the leaders of the induction program. Across interviews, we heard about how the leadership team was highly organized and responsive to the needs and feedback. Each month, the leadership team offers an optional monthly collaboration that is well attended by both mentors and candidates. This monthly collaboration offers relevant professional learning as well as just-in-time coaching for the program. During interviews, candidates express their appreciation for the cohort meetings and the time to collaborate with other candidates as well as with their mentors in completing their individual learning plan. At the heart of the FSD induction program are the mentors. Mentors are carefully chosen by site administrator recommendations and an open application process. Candidates shared that their mentors are more than mentors, stating that they're walking alongside them during their journey and becoming educators. Mentors shared that their relationship often goes beyond the first 2 years and often beyond the 1 hour a week. A district official shared that the relationship between the mentor and the candidate is essential for building a district-wide culture that helps retain the best teachers. It was also shared that Fullerton School District has seen a 30% increase in the diversity of the workforce. During candidates' 2 years in the program, they complete 4 inquiries as part of the individual learning plan. Each inquiry helps teachers reflect deeply on their goals and growth across the California standards for the teaching profession. Twice a year, the candidate, their mentor, and a leadership team member meet to discuss the candidate's progress. The collaboration identifies additional support needed by the candidate and the mentor. These are just a few highlights that create an induction program that is supportive, caring, and responsive to all of their candidates, mentors, and other constituents. Based on this, and the site visit, the interviews, review of documentation, the site visit team recommends full accreditation for the Fullerton School District induction program.
All right, thank you, Ms. Tizer. Now an opportunity for the representatives of the school district to offer any comment. Remind you, not time to dispute the team's report, rather provide any thoughts that you had about the visit itself.
Thank you. We found while the process was a little stressful, and mainly it's stressful because of what we hear about it, but more than that, it was really rewarding. We were able to hear from all of our constituents that they actually enjoyed the process, and that it was just an opportunity to highlight the great work that we're doing. We have an amazing leadership team. Thank you, Stacy, for highlighting them. They put their heart into this program and into the candidates, and we hear that from the feedback that we gather, and as well as from, I believe, what you heard. And so we're just very grateful to have a team approach, because I feel that makes us stronger. And going through this really allowed us to reflect on the standards, really know the standards, to grow our program, to improve it and refine it. And we're constantly refining our program based on feedback. So this feedback helped us as well. So thank you.
Great, thank you. And Dr. Soltero Ruiz, any comment you wish to offer?
Yes, I'd like to add a thank you to Trish Childs, who runs this program and coordinates with the other 2 districts. And I think it validated, the whole process validated the work that goes into it from her to ensure the organization is complete. But I think first and foremost, the mentors, as mentioned, are key to the program, as well as we see at the end in our colloquium. Tears are shed by both the candidate and the mentor, because they have gone through this process together. And I think the matching of the mentor and the mentee is key to our program. But all of this, again, without the help of Stacy and the whole entire team to get through this, it is a lot. But I appreciate that something is happening in order to confirm and validate the programs that we do have for our new teachers.
Great, thank you for the comments. And the idea of matching mentor is so critical. that's the time where students are going to either make or break it. They make that decision then if they want to continue, and having that good match that can make all the difference in the world to keep providing that support for future teachers. So thank you for mentioning that. Any committee members have any comment or question? Co-Chair Tchaikovsky.
Yeah, thank you for helping us to learn from you and to see how you've addressed the expectations of your programs. And my comment is similar to Co-Chair Frelly's just now. There's been a lot of conversation about mentorship and the imperative of matching up new teachers with people who can support them, including at the secondary level. And I just wanted to highlight it. It sounds like you said all of your mentors are classroom teachers who are supporting candidates in addition to doing that work. And at the last commission meeting, there was a conversation about a challenge of finding good mentors and how that can be difficult because good teachers often, suffer from this burnout situation where they're overtapped in multiple dimensions. And it sounds to me that you have created, you mentioned the word teamwork several times, but you created a sense of community in which participating as a mentor is not a drain, that it's a source of feedback and energy and positive encouragement for exactly the people that new teachers need to be around. So, unlike programs that might say, let's just hire some teachers on a special assignment, pull them out of the classroom, send them out there, they're going to go out there like these full-time resources. What your program does is it equips new teachers to work with colleagues who are doing the same work that they are, who can empathize with the challenges, what did we call it earlier? Executive functioning of like a 38 student 6th period class, because they're doing it, right? They're not speaking in conditional sentences. So good on you for creating this kind of magic concoction. And obviously that suggests there's leadership involved in coordinating everything, because it's a lot easier to give directions to like 3 or 4 people than it is 50. But the variety of ways you can match people up and customize those relationships is worth the obvious work that you've had to do. So thank you for being creative and focused on the importance of relationships.
Thank you. Member Cervantes.
No, I want to echo those comments. I mean, working with 3 different districts, you got 71 candidates and you got 58 mentors. And one of the pain points we constantly hear is on the inability to identify mentors to do mentorship in a significant way, where it's beyond just compliance and checking off boxes and so forth. Here, it is indeed a community of practice for professional development. So definitely want to commend you on that. And I do like that notion of walking alongside them rather than just doing that just in time support, again, just showing up because someone needs to show up at that moment. So if there's anything we can share, we also have representatives here from institutions of higher education who at times also have problems identifying mentors from school districts. If there are any column recommendations, points of advice, and so forth that you'd like to sort of provide forth on how we can continue to build these kinds of communities, please feel free to share them. I think we would all benefit from them.
I just
so
think
you can share it now. Yeah, if you have a good comment now, you may make out.
No, I was just going to say, I think one of the ways that we build the community is by gathering a lot of feedback and listening to the feedback and responding and reacting to the feedback. I think our candidates and mentors have felt they feel heard by us because we respond and we read all of the feedback and take it to heart. So I think that helps build community, listening.
It's the theme of the morning, listening and responding, right? We've heard that all throughout the morning. So thank you for mentioning that. Any other comments or questions from committee members? All right, this is an action item. Is there a motion? Member Hellis.
I move we accept the team report and recommendation of accreditation for Fullerton School District.
Thank you. So moved. Is there a second? Second by Member Hillis. Any further discussion? All in favor, please say aye. All opposed? Motion carries. Congratulations and thank you, Ms. Childs, Dr. Soltero Ruiz, Ms. Tizer, and Ms. Purdue. So again, congratulations. Go forth and have a great day. We are spot on time. It's 11:30.